Canada has temporarily paused some counter-tariffs against the United States, but Finance Minister Francois-Philippe Champagne on Sunday, May 18th, pushed back against claims they have all been quietly lifted. This came as Prime Minister Mark Carney and U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance discussed trade in Rome after they attended the inauguration Mass at the Vatican for Pope Leo XIV. According to a readout from Carney's office, they spoke about immediate trade pressures and the need to build a new economic and security relationship. In a brief statement, Vance called it a casual meeting about their two nations' shared interests and goals, including fair trade policies. Carney, who won Canada's April 28 election on a pledge to stand up to U.S. President Donald Trump, had slapped counter-tariffs on billions of dollars of imports from the United States in response to U.S. tariffs on Canadian goods. During the election campaign, automakers were offered a reprieve, provided they maintained production and investment in Canada. This was outlined on May 7th in the Canada Gazette, the government's official newspaper, along with a pause on tariffs on products used in food and beverage processing and packaging, health, manufacturing, national security, and public safety. The moves went mostly unnoticed until Oxford Economics said in a report this week that the exemptions covered so many categories of products that the tariffs rate against the United States was effectively dropped to nearly zero. Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre pounced on the claim, cited in the media, to accuse Carney of having quietly dropped retaliatory tariffs to nearly zero without telling anyone. Champagne called those assertions falsehoods. To retaliate against U.S. tariffs, Canada launched its largest ever response, including 60 billion Canadian dollars of tariffs on end-use goods. 70% of those tariffs are still in place, he said on X. Canada's counter-tariffs, his office told AFP, were calibrated to respond to the U.S. while limiting economic harm to Canada. Tariff relief was provided for 6 months to give some Canadian companies more time to adjust their supply chains and become less dependent on U.S. suppliers, Champagne spokesperson Audrey Millette said. Canada continues to charge tariffs on roughly 43 billion Canadian dollars, which is about 31 billion US dollars of US goods, she added. The nation of 41 million people sends 3/4 of its exports to the United States, and the latest jobs report shows tariffs imposed by Trump are already damaging the Canadian economy. The U.S. president has slapped general tariffs of 25% on Canada, as well as sector-specific levies on autos, steel, and aluminum, but he has suspended some of them pending negotiations.